It's what's working. It's what's working.
Tyson, I was going to start out.
Big John, let's go. Jump in there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about your health, but I see you walk in on some crutches, and I guess that tells me a little bit about it. I mean, give us the update. Where you at?
Always good. Had surgery 3 days ago. Full ACL reco. So Shogun got me. Son of a.
What exactly happened? I mean,
when he kicked my foot out in the second round, early in the second, he kicked my foot out, and it was a non-contact tear, I think they call it, and my knee bent out. Yeah, he got me good. Like, you can't deal with that in the fight. Like I tried to pretend like it didn't happen, didn't want to tell anyone. Like I was in my head, I knew it tore straight away, but you just try and pretend like it didn't happen and try and see what can happen from there. I couldn't push off the floor. When I was trying to stand up, I was falling over, but I didn't really know what happened, but I just knew it was bad. So.
What's the emotions like from a fight like that? I mean, there's not much you can do about that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so how do you walk away after a fight like that?
Yeah. I was just happy that I was in there with Shogun. It's pretty surreal that this is someone that you watched as a kid, and now you're in there going at him. And if I had kept to the same thing that I was doing in the first round, and this is the first time that I tried to watch tape and do something different from the last fight. So with OSP, I ran in, and everyone was like, "Why'd you run in with Shogun?" But I didn't mean to. I blacked out. He caught me with something, and I blacked out. And by the time I was holding him, I was like, "Oh shit, I've done the same mistake again." But when you're in the grapple, you got to go with it. And man, he's just a vet. Like that's what I knew that was coming with it. I knew I was all over everything that I was doing, and I knew I had him. But that's what vets do. They just bring out something that you weren't expecting and toughed it out, and then. I wasn't hurt when he was throwing those bombs. Like I was putting my hands out, but I also couldn't stand up. Like when I was pushing off my knee, it kept popping out. So it was a fine stoppage for me.
So what's the emotion been like? I mean, you needed that result, right? I mean, you wanted that result, but again, it's not like a clear loss, it would seem, and not to make excuses. So I mean, what's your feeling like?
That's why it sucks, because now I'm like 2-0, and both times everyone's gone, "Oh yeah, but you had him." Well, I didn't. I lost. So that's how you have to cop it, and this 12, I don't know how long it's going to be. The surgeon hasn't given me a time, but they give like a overestimate and hope for the best. But I'm going to go, I've been like watching all the docos from all the ex-UFC fighters that have done ACLs. I've been prepping beforehand, I prepped hard, I'm already ahead of schedule on what I'm doing. So, I'm coming back strong, and even I'm trying to do everything that I was weak at. So I don't watch tape. That's one thing that I'm trying to do. So everything that I'm bad at, I'm trying to be better. Like if I'm going to come back, I want to come back hard. I'm not coming to be 15.
Last thing for me, I mean, as you said, it's too early to know, but perfect case. I mean, in your head, what do you think you fight again?
I haven't even thought about it. I just I've got so many other plans during this time, and I plan on coming back a little bit heavier, and I plan on coming back a bit stronger. Plan on changing up a little bit things. People were bad-mouthing the Thailand camp, saying that the wrestling, we had American D1 wrestlers, we had plenty of wrestlers there. Couldn't push off my leg. Ty was on the bottom in mount after he got dropped. That's not wrestling. He just decided he wanted to do guard punching, but it was a life-changing camp for me, and the happiest I've ever been. So why wouldn't I go back there? We've got top-level wrestlers that it doesn't make sense. Ty's brought over another D1 wrestler, so we're doing fine, and we're going to come back strong. I've got a couple plans in the books that I don't want to put out too early because I don't want to jump the gun, but I hope you all enjoy it, and I know you will.
This might be your first camp that Mark's not around for. How's that going?
We're still Mark's a different animal. He's not a normal camp person. I'm even Ty. I've got schedule. I'm there this and this. Mark can rock up on the day, eat KFC, and still knock the guy out. He doesn't matter if he turns up or not. For me, I'm a solo person. I don't need a team. I've been doing solo since day one. So if I train by myself or with a group, I'm still going to train hard. Doesn't matter if someone's watching.
And you do train a lot of gyms in Sydney. You go around quite a bit, and now you're in Thailand. Do you think that possibly maybe staying in one spot might be better for you, or is just the way you roll?
Yeah, so I went to Jackson's. That was a dream of mine. I still love Jackson. I've got a lot of love for a lot of coaches over there. Still keep in contact with them. It's just so expensive, man. And with fights, I was going red like every time. Thailand, they're almost paying you to be there, and like the quality of sparring was not very different. And I was also paying for coaches to come over, and still worked out for me. In Sydney, traveling, I want to go to I want to go train with all the best, and we've kept a similar team since James Sahuna. Like he was training with Eagles MMA in Bondi. Then I go to Castle Hill for. We've all been training the same route, but that was my plan that might come in the future. So we'll see how that happens. If it comes to fruition, it'll be very cool. So. Yeah, I've got experiences in my life that I experienced places that I was at, and I was like, man, I want to do this in Australia. We don't have it yet. So that's.
You and your dad are really close. How helpful has he been? Not close?
We do it for TV. He beat me my whole life.
Yeah, well, during this difficult period, did he stop beating you and try to help you get through this difficult period? Because social media, it looks like you guys have been working out together and he's been trying to sort of get you through this tough time.
Definitely not a tough time for me. I don't know. I might be weird. Like, I don't know if it's weird. It's not tough for me. Like, if UFC dropped me tomorrow, I'd just keep training until I got back into UFC. I wouldn't go like cry about it. So it's not like that. But Dad's always there, always hard on like. People probably call docs if they saw like the hardness that was on it. Like they wouldn't agree with it. But I am where I am today because of that hardness. So it's that fine line. Like it still happens today. Gymnasts, like tennis players, people like treat their child like in some way, and they go, "That's not right." But then they're in the world championships, and your child isn't. So I'm in the UFC now, and yeah, I have some bad memories. But it hasn't been like one of the biggest things, man, is my dad saying that he's proud of me, and like that was something that I always worked for, and that was only recently that sort of stuff happened. So, man, that's the biggest thing for me now. And when I was in gyms, they're always like, "Oh, that's Pedro's son," and now like when I'm training, they're like, "That's Tyson's dad."
Your dad saying that he's proud of you. Is that something that only started happening sort of like once you were fighting?
No. So with weird stuff, looking after my family, and like he's been away for a long time, and yeah, when I was 16, we were living together, and then I was still going to school trying to make the Olympics for boxing, and then he goes, "I got to go away for a bit," and he's gone for a year. So I was still working 2 jobs, still trying to box, and like there's a lot of stuff that people wouldn't agree with, but it's the stuff that hardened me and got me ready for life, and is where I am. And now it's done a full circle, and like I'm really close with my dad and my mum. Like my mum did the other side, like the educational side. My mum's a school teacher and always made sure that I had the best education. So Dad wanted me to go to uni. That was what the fight was about. So I decided to go to boxing, and then he wasn't happy with that. Got beat up.